Hey all, Jade here. To Tarot Your Truth, do you see anything wrong with this picture? This was my Witch's Tarot, which I mentioned in my tarot deck walkthrough I was going to cut the borders off of. So you can see that I have done the entire pile here. While I was doing this, because it does take a little while, I was watching YouTube videos. There's all the paper. And I wasn't paying attention. I started laughing at a couple of videos, and or in one video in particular, and I wasn't paying attention, so I cut what I thought was just another border off. Anyway, a bit frustrating. It's okay because I do have clear contact paper, so what I'll do is I'll just put the clear contact paper along the back, and there we go. It'll make a little bit of a difference in terms of the thickness of the card, but that's okay. Anyways, I just thought that I would show you. Clearly, you can see that these ones still have square edges. I do have a quarter rounder, which I really like. This one actually, I ordered it on Amazon. It was quite cheap, and what I really like about it is that you do have 3 different sizes of corners that you can use. I generally use the medium one. I like that one, but I think you could use whatever you want. So the next thing I wanted to do was and what I wanted to mention was when I was cutting this, I was not using scissors. I was using this guillotine. Is it called the guillotine? Anyway, it worked okay, but I did find that a couple of the corners, or not the corners, a couple of the sides, as I was cutting them, got the edges of the cards. I don't know. It's weird. It's either they got a little bent backwards a little bit before they got cut, or I'm not sure. But it's okay. It'll be fine. I actually just went over them again with scissors where I felt it needed it, and that's fine. So all I have left to do is to use a quarter rounder on those, and I'll probably edge the deck maybe in a nice purple or black. We'll see. I haven't decided. Maybe the black actually, since the border along the bottom with the name of the card is in black. But I also wanted, as I mentioned in my unboxing my deck collection video, that I wanted to do my Shadowscapes cards as well, because it bothers me that they're misprinted or miscut. I'm not sure. The border on each side is different, and I just find that it really does contain the artwork a little bit too much, and I wanted to cut them. So they're about halfway done. I haven't done them all yet, but that's sort of what they look like. Again, I haven't used the corner rounder yet, but oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna turn this. Please don't be sick. Okay, what a difference that makes already, right? I just found without those borders, the artwork just pops. I love it so much. And just to show you what the final product will look like, I used the corner rounder on one. Oh my God, I love this deck now. Like, love it. I loved it before, but this, I just find that borderless is just absolutely fabulous. The gray along the bottom doesn't bother me because it's just, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't make any difference to the art or anything, but I just find that it's like the artwork finally has a chance to shine properly. Anyway, that's it. This is just a really quick one. I just wanted to show my little oops in progress with the Witch's Tarot. And my Shadowscapes, what that looks like. Now, I'm not, because of the issue that I was having with the guillotine over there, I'm not using the guillotine on the Shadowscapes. I'm just using good old-fashioned scissors, which are quite sharp, and I don't use these for anything else. And I'm finding that that's actually going much better. So it does take a little while, so I've still got about half the deck to go, but I will show this off in a future video. Guys, I finished the entire deck. Here's the Shadowscapes tarot. I'll show you the Witch's Tarot in just a second, but I am in love. I can't believe it took me so long to make the decision, and I waffled so much with cutting those borders off. But I just love it. I love it so much. I find that the artwork pops so much more. I still wish that the cards were bigger so that we could see more of the detail, but oh my goodness, what a great decision this was. It was also a great decision to use scissors and not the, is it still called a guillotine if the thing doesn't move up and down? Anyway, you know what I mean. The slicer. I also find that, the color, my lighting is not very good right now, so sorry. It's not showing great, but I don't think I'm going to edge this again. I think it looks great. Obviously the core of this paper was gray, and I just find that it looks just fine with the purple on the back. So with that border gone, I think I'm just gonna leave it as is. So that's the Shadowscapes tarot. I'm going to move to the Witch's Tarot and show you the end product there, and also show you why I'm saying it was the best decision to use scissors on this deck. I did use a corner rounder, of course, but anyways, there's the final product, and the Witch's Tarot. I really love it borderless. I don't mind the bottom with the what's it called, the nameplate. I'm not sure what that's called. Anyway, the labels. I love it borderless. I think it's great. Again, the artwork just seems to pop that much more. Trying to eliminate the glare there. Now you'll remember that I had the one card that I actually sliced that bottom border off. So what I did fix it, and actually can tell which card it is. So I've clearly edged this, and I'll go into why in just a second. But sorry, it's hard to do this one-handed, but this is the card that I had sliced, and basically what I did is just use transparent contact paper, and I did that front and back. You can kind of see the seam there. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but that's okay. I'm thinking that this deck is probably not one that I'm going to be using all that frequently anyway, so it should be okay. Now, one of the things, this was the deck that I did use the guillotine on, as I mentioned. And I was mentioning earlier, I'm pretty sure, that what the guillotine does is it doesn't just slice the paper. If it just made a nice clean slice like the scissors, that would be great. but it didn't. What it did was it kind of, as you slide the blade across, it actually pushes down and deforms the very edge of the card. And so a lot of these cards, and I really noticed it as I was edging it, and I edged it purposely because I don't know if you can see there, but the edges are really puffy. They're really, or they look that way. They're just bent backwards, and it kind of looked almost like there was a white border now on the front. It seems like it sort of delaminated the sides of the card. Now, I mentioned earlier, or in a different video, that that it looks like what I have here is actually a fake. So maybe it's just a cardstock that they use. And if you did this process with the real deck, you may not have that issue. But what I found was that I had to first go across with some scissors and cut off those bent pieces, because I really didn't want my cards to be convex, for God's sake. And then I decided to edge it because, again, the cards, just the edges still looked puffy. I didn't want this to be a mini deck, so I didn't want to cut off too much. I tried to cut some of the worst off, but so I edged it. I took a marker, and you can see in a lot of these cards, particularly the ones that were badly damaged at the edges, that the markers that I used really bled. These markers that I used I've used them for, I don't know, at least 10 decks now, and I've never had this issue. They are Bic markers, they're not Sharpies, and what I love about them is that by the time if you start here and you go all the way around, by the time you get to this side, it's all dry. So it doesn't, and it doesn't bleed. So for this to happen, it's just telling me that, it's just, number one, it's just really shitty cardstock. And number two, the guillotine wasn't a good way to go. It's okay. It doesn't, if this had happened on a deck that I really cared about, I might be more angry than I am about this whole situation with this deck, but that's okay. I'll probably pass this on to my daughter. She won't care either. I would like to use it a little bit. I do like the deck. I do find that there are some things like this, I don't know, this very kind of patriarchal, rich family, white garden fence kind of thing doesn't really do it for me, but it's very Rider-Waite-Smith. Anyway, I just wanted to show what the end result looks like. I really love it borderless, and I wish that this deck would come in a borderless edition, because I would definitely buy it again, but I would buy a brand new one this time. And yeah, I wanted to show what that looks like. Let me know what you think. Do you have this deck? Have you edged it? Have you had these issues with that much bleeding on the sides? Have you cut the borders off, or would you consider doing that? Anyway, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but I'm super ecstatic about the Shadowscapes. All right, guys. Talk to you next time.